Trump War Room posted this video. I hope you guys enjoy it.
She doesn't go to any.
Wait, let me start it over. Sorry.
Kamala Harris said she thinks you're exhausted. That's why you're canceling events. Are you exhausted?
What event did I cancel? I haven't canceled. She doesn't go to any events. She's a loser. She doesn't go to any events. She didn't even show up for the Catholics last night at the hotel. It was insulting. All they are is sound bites. So today I was at Fox and Friends at 7 in the morning. I then went to 2 different other appearances. I then made about 15 phone calls. I've gone 48 days now without arrest, and I've got that loser who doesn't have the energy of a rabbit. Let me tell you something.
The energy of a rabbit. Energy of a rabbit.
To the Catholics. So all they do is put.
He was up at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
like live on air.
Take even a little bit of a risk. Not only am I'm not even tired. I'm really exhilarated. You know why?
I'm exhilarated.
Because the American people don't want her. She didn't pass her bar exam. She's not a smart person. She's not a person that should represent our country. So I just want to let you know that very clearly.
I just wanted to let you know that.
I did like it when the second time he called her a loser and said she doesn't have the energy of a rabbit.
This reminds me of his Rosie O'Donnell promo. It's like, she's got the face of a truck driver. Like, it's just those classic. But there is actually something that there's some truth to the question that is being asked about why have some of the events gone that were on the public schedule that have been taken off, and different rallies have been or events have been changed from rallies to messaging events, or stuff that was done like in my hometown area. So Doylestown, I'm not from Doylestown, Norristown, but it's like 30 minutes away. He was going to do this event, this huge public event. Seamus, I'm sure you heard of it. He was going to go to the Polish National Shrine, Our Lady of Czestochowa, with the president of Poland, and yet suddenly it was just taken off the schedule at the last minute. And the question was, why was this?
Because they keep trying to kill him.
Well, and so the media narrative has been like, oh, he's exhausted, that's why they're doing this. No, number one, they're throwing crazy amounts of events out there, and that's why it doesn't hit with the narrative. But the truth behind the matter is that there have been a lot of security concerns, and one of the reasons that they've been taking a lot of events off is these security concerns, or are these security concerns, and the Secret Service coming in saying like, hey, we don't think we can keep you safe at all of these various things. And so that's why they've been truncating certain things from a public event becomes a messaging event and it's press only, or you have to cancel that. And we just, by the way, we're chasing ballots over at Our Lady of Czestochowa. I went to the Polish Mass. It was awesome. So they have Latin Mass there, English Mass, and Polish Mass all in the same morning that you can all go to. And it's incredible. But yeah, that's really what's going on. And obviously, I can understand why Trump doesn't want to say that publicly, but that's actually what's going on. So the media is just lying. They're saying he's exhausted when it really is.
They're lying?
That I know, right?
I can't believe it.
But when it really is that Democrats keep trying to kill him.
Yes.
And that's why. And by the way, they've already taken out one Trump supporter this year named Corey Compatore by an Act Blue donor, and that's one of the reasons that they've had to be really careful with his schedule.
And if these attacks were happening to Kamala, they would have locked down the country.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
We did a cartoon about that. Yeah.
Insane.
Well, they also let's mention this. It's not even something we have to explain by saying that there have been attempted assassinations, even though that's relevant information, because he's still done way more events than she has. He's done way more appearances than she has. He's done more town halls than she has. He's done more radio interviews, more television. On every single metric, he has done more than her by a significant margin.
Biden campaigned from the basement, and he still won.
Maybe we should stop considering that Trump's statements are opinions and that there's actually a fact basis to calling Kamala a loser.
Objectively.
Yeah, she's an objective.
What has she ever won?
Yeah.
Well, she was given the nomination.
Well, there was that primary, that she won. Remember the one where she, where she won all the votes of the Democrat Party.
She made.
In the big democracy. And they've actually pointed out that she hasn't had a competitive election in years, unless you count the primary of 2020, which she resoundingly lost. In fact, every single one of us in this room got exactly as many nomination votes as Kamala Harris in 2020 and 2024.
That's pretty good for us, you know what I mean?
So we're doing well. We could run as Democrats. I liked when Trump was like, He's like, Chuck's here. He calls it the Democratic Party because he thinks it sounds nice, but I call it the Democrat Party because it sounds worse.
I'll patting him on the back.
And he's like patting him on the back. What's really funny though is like it's very clear, and you can. Which, by the way, like Governor Hochul is like sitting right there.
Letitia James.
Letitia James is up in the back
Bloomberg's
and is
in front
clapping. Who is currently trying to put him in jail right now? And by the way, if he loses, if he's still alive, that because they keep trying to take him out, that he will be put in jail, right? And this is why, like, everyone needs to be voting, like, right now. Like, stop what you're doing and go vote.
How many states have voting going on right now?
A lot of, in swing states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona, North Carolina have it all open. So those are like 4 of the top 7, I believe, and Michigan as well. I know has it. I don't know off the top of my head about Wisconsin. I think they do, but. So those, that's your 7 right there. So your Rust Belt and your Sun Belt, basically, and then Nevada. And so Letitia James is like currently trying to put him in jail, and yet she's up there clapping. It's like, you know what it reminded me of in a weird way? It reminded me of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So do you remember at the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, that moment where they let Kyle like walk up to the judge and actually stand right behind the judge when they were watching that piece of footage and they couldn't get it up on a certain monitor. Yeah. And it was like, wait, hold on a second. This guy's on trial for double murder and nobody seems to have a problem with him just standing right behind the judge like that. Think of the subtext here. If this were an actual hardened criminal that people thought was a real murderer, you would never let him do that.
Ted Bundy is
never. If there's Ted Bundy or like Norman Bates or something, like you would never let him just stand behind the judge. I watched like all the Psycho movies this week. And then I watched Kamala Harris, so which is very similar. Like Trump is still in office. He's been in office for 10 years. Like no, sweetheart, you're the one with the bloody knife.
He's been running.
And Joe Biden,
but he's been running.
He's been
running.
running.
What I'm talking about.
Right. So that's kind of like what this was in a weird. So basically, in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, you knew that was the moment that everybody sort of knew that this kid was innocent. Like nobody actually thinks he's a killer, or else you'd never treat him this way.
Be in shackles.
He'd be in shackles. They'd never.
Everyone's there in the room with Trump because they don't think.
Because they number one, they don't think he's a criminal. Number two, they all know that he's the real president. And they all just sort of deferred to him in that room as if he was the leader.
And his jokes
because
deflated
they know
all of
he
that
is.
pressure.
Exactly.
And they deflated even the attempts in your book. His jokes cut through all of that. And then that video from Kamala, I can't even imagine those jokes being told.
She got booed.
Well, it's like when you survive 2 assassinations, like you pretty much, it's like, what are you going to do after that?
Destroyed.
So you just walk right in and with no fear.
And Gaffigan made fun of Letitia to her face too.
That was great. He was like, "Don't worry if you don't have any allegations. Letitia James is sitting right here."
Oh,
was Eric Adams in the room?
Yeah, no, Eric Adams was there and that was like, he's like, Eric Adams is here. I know he's got a special diet, but maybe we can serve him some turkey tonight.
Wow. Oh, dude, it was great.
It was very good.
I think
jokes.
I think the reality is Kamala couldn't go because she doesn't have the wherewithal to speak publicly like that.
Well, so here's the thing, right?
She's not good at it. No, it's true.
She's been challenging Trump to a debate publicly. She's been desperate to have it. Debate me. Why won't you debate me? Debate me again. Debate me tomorrow. Debate me Tuesday. Debate me Wednesday. I'm going to be outside of Mar-a-Lago, lying in the bushes like this Ukrainian foreign fighter guy, with a Kalashnikov, waiting for you to debate me. And she could have just showed up, and that would have been like a quasi debate. And yet she chose not to. And this is the reason. And, Seamus has the cartoon, and we all saw this week. This is what happens when you put her in an uncontrolled environment where she has to stand on her own 2 feet, where she doesn't have 2 mainstream media blockers and tacklers running interference for her. She can't hang. She
can't
just
fake
straight
humor.
up can't hang.
Well, yeah,
fake authentic humor.
I'm so optimistic right now.
She can fake authentic anything.
With like everything we're seeing right now today with the polls. And Trump is winning every battleground state right now in aggregate. Okay, so this is not just a single poll. All of the polls combined and averaged out for every battleground state have Donald Trump up, beating Kamala Harris.
Well, and I want to preface what I'm about to say with this. Get out and vote. Statistics don't vote. Polls don't vote. Gambling odds don't vote. Our opinions don't vote. You got to get out there and vote. That said, I think part of why Kamala is such a particularly horrible candidate is because we got or I should say the Democratic Party got the worst of both worlds from the primary process with her. So one of the difficult things about presidential primaries is when you run at a primary, you have to signal to the most extreme faction of your party that you are going to be the person who they want to nominate for president. And then as soon as you start running for president, if you get the nomination, you have to abandon all of those things. You have to distance yourself from those things and say, no, I'm actually a moderate. I'm going to appeal to normal Americans. I'm going to try to appeal to the other side to some degree. But the advantage is supposed to be that you have sharpened yourself by debating other candidates in the party to the point where you were able to get votes and delegates from people in your own party because they saw you debate and they said, this is someone who can go up against other people. Kamala did a whole lot of the signaling to the far left in her party that she was the person they should pick. And she did basically none of the successfully arguing with people who are trying to tear her apart part of the primary process. And now she's the nominee.
Yeah, this is
so
what sort
all
of
they
thing-
have is baggage. The only thing they have from her primary process is the baggage.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.